Are we good?
Fabulous. There we go.
Hello.
Are we rolling? Are we good?
Yay!
Oh, can we slide?
Yes.
Do we each have one, or are we short one?
We're short a microphone.
Okay, sure. We'll share.
I got
Sorry.
Short a microphone.
Princesses have to share. I'm sorry.
She doesn't want my
share.
cooties.
All right, hi everybody. Welcome to the Sounds of Nintendo panel. Thank you for being here. We are joined today by some of the most talented people in this entire convention center, nay, I say, all of Portland. We've got the voice of Princess Peach, Toad, some other stuff, Samantha Kelly. Princess Rosalina, Lord Faye Smith. The voice of Bowser, Kenny James. Some of his sons, including Iggy and Ludwig von Koopa, Mike Vaughn. And this guy did Donkey Kong and I think absolutely nothing else with his career, Grant Kirkhope. Thank you guys for being here. Thank all of you guys for being here. The way this is going to work this year is it's actually being recorded, so yay! I'm going to start off by asking these guys some questions about their careers and all of that, and then you guys are going to get a chance to ask them some questions as well. So save your questions for the end. Hopefully I'll ask a couple good ones. I'm going to ask you guys mostly about, your voice acting careers, but Grant, if you want to chime in about anything else you've done in your life, by all means.
I've not done anything else. Basically, the Donkey Kong voice is all I've ever done. So, okay, but that was it. Sorry.
All right. Well, we'll start with the simple one, which is, how did you guys find this profession? What drove you to it? What's your origin story here? We can start at the end.
Sam.
Who goes first?
I'll go first. Okay, so how many of you guys are introverts? My people! Yeah, so super shy human being. And what I love about voice acting is that you can be as big as you want to be and nobody's going to look at you. And so it just was something that I kind of gravitated towards. And I had an agent. I was doing commercials and radio and things like that. And she sent me on an audition and they said, can you do this voice? Yeah! Can you do this voice? Yeah! And then they were like, okay, you're hired. So after that, I realized, wow, this was huge what I got a chance to do. And so I've just been, I love it, and I feel super fortunate that I got to do it for 20 years.
I got into it because I'm a regular theater actor. So I actually lived here in Portland for 20 years. I did a lot of theater here, and then I had just a regular for on camera for commercial and TV and film stuff. And she submitted me for voiceover. So my first voiceover stuff was not the fun stuff like this. It was like a Kroger industrial, where I was literally training their deli employees, for stuff. And I've told this story before, but one of my biggest memories of it was I had to say something about that chicken, doesn't look very fresh or something. And they said, could you make your voice less caressy when you say that? And I was like, I wasn't trying to be sexy chicken over here. I just, but that was my first time doing voiceover. I remember being excited because I didn't have to memorize lines. I didn't have to put on makeup. I didn't have to if I screwed up, I didn't have to figure out how to go on. We could stop, we could go back. So that was my first introduction to just doing it. That was super exciting. And then fun opportunities like this and other things came along after that. So that's how I got started.
My turn. I didn't start acting until I was 40, both in theater.
So you haven't even started.
Yeah, right, yeah. It's been a few years. But I started in theater and starting to look for voice work at the same time. And I just, as far as voice work goes, I was just working my regular jobby job, and I had a demo made after taking a commercial voiceover class, and I was working, and this lady overheard me talking to my service manager about doing these one-liners for some guy in Canada for $8 a line or something, and for answering machines. Some of you probably don't remember answering machines. But yeah, I was doing things like Scooby and Shaggy and stuff. You know, it was like bizarre. It's like, hey, Scoob, answer the phone, man. You know. You know, and it was bizarre. So anyway, this customer lady goes, oh, you do voice work? And I go, trying. Turns out she was a part-time producer at the studio in Seattle that Nintendo used to use. And the second thing she said was, do you have a demo? And I said, I do. And she sent the demo over to the production manager, and she started sending me auditions. And when they recast Bowser, I auditioned for it and actually did my best Scott Burns from Sunshine, because I assumed they wanted a voice match because they didn't say no, and they sent me Scott's tracks and the lines from Sunshine. So I did my best Scott Burns, you know. It's like, Mario, how dare you disrupt my family vacation? Yeah, and then my first recording session, they went, you're not going to be talking. So that's how that started.
Oh, it's me. All right. So I was a bit of a layabout, so I did like a proper, you know, school education thing. I played trumpet, and I was kind of classical trumpet taught person, and then like I was a self-taught like metal guitar player, because I like metal, right? So, and then went through school. I went to music college and did a degree, and then I had long hair. I just wanted to be in Judas Priest, really. I didn't want to do anything else. So I kind of thought, I'm not going to play trumpet ever again because it's crap. So, and I spent like 11 years from 22 till 33 playing in rock bands, really, and different bands. I was playing trumpet in this kind of soul funk band, which was like a proper working band. Like, you know, 4 nights a week for 7 years, something like that, crazy. And then I had a couple of my own metal bands that didn't do very well. And then I ended up playing for a UK rock band called Little Angels, who were kind of friends of mine, and they were like quite a big UK rock band. They had like a #1 album in the UK, and we did things like they could probably headline like a 2,000-seat thing, something like that. But we were the opening act for like Bon Jovi and Van Halen and, you know, ZZ Top and Brad Adams, and we did this giant, you know, arena tours with these bands, and the bottom of the bill, mind you, like 90,000-seat arenas in Germany. It was crazy, like proper rock and roll. And then, of course, a band split up and everyone goes their own way. And I was old by that point, like 32, you know, like, oh my God, my life's over. So I just kind of ended up back in my local town in North Yorkshire, playing in like local bands, you know, in doing pub rock, you know, cover stuff, making £35 a night. Living at home with my mother still at 33, which is not great. And so, you know, I think, well, that's basically my life. That's over now. I'm just going to do this until I die, or, you know, whatever. I'll be a tramp. And then my friend, Robin Beanland, who played in one of the local bands that I played for, keyboard player, said, I've got a job. And I was like, you know, it's crazy knowing that I knew got a job. Everyone that I knew just played in bands and signed on unemployment and then played in bands and signed on. That's what I did for, like, you know, all that time. So he said, I'm going to go look at Rare and write music for video games. I was like, what, that's a thing? Like, people do that? He said, yeah. So off he went. So about a year and a half went by. He said, you know, I've been here a year and a half, you know. He said, you know, you've been off on unemployment for like 11 years. Don't you think you should get a job? I said, well, you know, what could I do? He said, well, you could try write music like I'm doing. So I said, well, I guess I could. So I bought an Atari ST with a meg of RAM. You had to get a meg of RAM to run Cubase, which is like a music program. And I wrote like music that I thought was video game appropriate, because I played tons of games at the time, because I was just a layabout, right? So I sent 5 cassette tapes. Now, do you remember cassette tapes? In those days, to Rare over the course of like 1994. I never got a reply. And then out the blue, got a letter saying, please come for an interview. And Dave White interviewed me. I had to write 3 pieces to go. I had like a Mario-style platform piece, a Batman-style orchestral piece, and a kind of a rock guitar-style fighting piece, because they were doing Killer Instinct at the time, Killer Instinct 2. So I took those down with me. They put them on the boombox thing in the room and played those. Went, and then asked me a couple of questions, and that was like on a Friday. And I got the letter on the Monday morning saying I got the job. So no one was more surprised than I was. You know, and I mean, when I was at music college, I failed the harmony exam like 3 years out of 4. So I was so bad at harmony, I just couldn't understand it. It was ridiculously hard. And I just scraped by the skin of my teeth in the last year. Literally only just passed. So, you know, I wrote songs for the metal bands that I played for, but, you know, I never once thought I could ever write proper music. You never dreamed of it, right? So it's crazy that I ended up doing it. So it was kind of, I guess like everyone's experienced, a lot of the time it's just fluke and luck half the time. It's not, it's just the way it goes. So if Robin never got that job, I'd never have thought about it ever. I always tell him that I changed my life, and he always cries, but he literally changed my life by getting the job and suggesting that perhaps I could have a go. So that's my story.
I could listen to that voice for another 2 hours, even if I only understand part of it.
Mike,
That was
Mike, before you say, can I ask Grant one more question?
Yeah.
So was this before or after you were Scottish royalty? Because I found out yesterday that he's...
No, it's not true. So my wife, right, she found out you could buy 1 foot square, because I'm Scottish, right? 1 foot square plots of land in this place in Scotland. You get the official title of being a laird. So I'm a laird now. So yes, so please bow down before me, of course.
awesome. Well, after failing music theory in college, I went into advertising. I was in Denver directing voice talent. I was a writer, broadcast producer, and I was telling a talent how to read, and I did what you're not supposed to do, and I line read her because I was a pompous jerk. And the engineer goes, "Oh, you should do voice work." I go, "No, man, I hate my voice." And he goes, "Well, here's what she got paid." And I go, "That's nice." He goes, "Yeah, and multiply that by the 12 markets we have to send it to." And I went, "Okay, let's record something." I moved to Portland in the late 90s, shortly after that. I literally slid the cassette under the door of an agency, and the next day they called and said, "Who are you? Come in here, sign." And I did, because they have a shortage of young voices at the time, and I auditioned for a year, putting stuff on cassette, and booked nothing. And I was just having fun, doing, marketing and just walking down in the Pearl District, putting on some things, and all of a sudden I booked something. Then I booked another thing. Then I got bored at my job and did a website and added some guy in Bend, Oregon who represented voice talent. Then I got another agent and another agent. Next thing I know, a third of my income is marketing, a third of my income is voice acting, and a third of my income is acting. And finally, I got a call from Laszlo at Rockstar Games, and he said, "Hey, do this bit over the phone." I said, "Sure." I said, "I think I'm going to go move to LA and do some games." So I did that, and I just became a full-time actor in about 2008. And then I took real acting classes and got into it and all that. And had a kid in 2017, so had to move back. Love Portland. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. Oh, and the first year I moved to LA, my Portland agent said, "Oh, you booked this thing for Nintendo," and they flew me back up. If they'd just done it a year earlier, I could have just drove.
So I think a lot of people here, obviously everyone's here because they love your work, but how many of you here also want to be a voice actor? Well, that's not as many as I thought, actually. I feel like it's usually a big house, but have you guys ever had any kind of discouraging moments in your career? It's a tough career to get into, right? So have you had any discouraging moments? You didn't book a part you wanted, you did poorly on something. How did you handle that?
I think the thing a career in the arts is a marathon, not a sprint, first of all. It can really take time. And then I just think of it like a Ferris wheel, Sometimes you are the flavor of the month and people can't get enough of you and they love everything you're doing and you're doing the exact same thing and you can't get arrested. It's weird that sometimes you're wildly popular and sometimes you're not, and from where you're sitting, you're basically doing the same thing. But it's kind of about perseverance, just like getting through those times and not getting discouraged. I think I'll tell you my most discouraging story. It wasn't a voiceover one. One of the first industrial jobs I ever booked here. The wild thing about it, I did an Australian accent, which I can't really do well, and I did it in the audition, and I remember there was that Foster's beer commercial where they Foster's beer, so I just kind of used that to get into the voice, and I booked it, and then they wanted me to do that in the thing, and it was for Mentor Graphics, and it was all tech speak. So it's these technical terms. And then like an idiot, I thought they would have a teleprompter, even though no one had brought that up. And so I kind of got there, and I was not nearly as off book as I needed to be for that. That was such a lesson, and just in this white-hot panic, and it was like a fisheye lens straight down on me, couldn't cut your eyes anywhere, trying to get through it, my time running into the time of the people who were supposed to come after. And it was really an issue of me not showing up prepared for that job. And I remember just being so embarrassed and feeling God, I'm just ashamed of myself. Why didn't I show up more prepared to that job? And it was such a great lesson. to get, but I remember calling a friend and being like, oh my God, I'm never going to work again. And he was like, Laura, he goes, I did a job once where all I had to do was move a box from like here to there. And the client was there and they kept making me do it over and again because I was doing it weird. And I was like, okay, now I feel better. And he worked again. So I'm like, I guess I will too. And then I did. But that was a time, where I was disappointed in myself just because I didn't do the job that I should have done.
I mean, what she's talking about is that it's so subjective. And so I think you have to, in yourself, just be like, I am going to 100% commit to this, and I'm not going to care if someone loves it or doesn't love it, because I know I'm just here, and I've got a thing to do, and I'm going to do it. So that resilience is really important, but it's hard. I remember I got booked for a game. I think Microsoft was doing some kind of a thing, and I think it was for their employees, so it wasn't going to be a big release thing, but just for their employees. And I did the audition, and I don't know, it's like you with your Australian thing, I was just in the zone. And so I was just doing the thing or whatever, and they're like, perfect, we love it. And then I got there, and they go, well, what we love about you is that it sounded just like Ellen, so can you just do it? And I was like, oh my gosh, I did? And so then they're like, that's not Ellen-y enough. Can you make it more Ellen-y? And I was just like, I don't know what I did, And so there was just this sort of,
Trying to be Ellen in the first place.
I wasn't trying. I was just in the zone of whatever I was doing. And I could not get back to whatever it was that I did in that moment. And I felt the same way. And the guy kept going, you're making funny clicking noises with your mouth. And I was just like, oh, this is so hard. And you sweat, And so as an introvert, as people are looking at you and going, huh? And it's just, you just cringe, So I think it's so important. And this isn't just for voice actors, but this is for life, where you just go, you know what? I got a gift inside me. I'm going to be this, and I'm going to do it strong. And afterwards, you hang out with people who know you and who say you were awesome. And just keep feeding yourself that, and then you walk on.
Yeah. The comment about it being a marathon is so true, because you go major ups, major downs. When times are scary, us scary voice guys tend not to book real easily, and then when times are good, then they need us. And so you sort of keep an unusual amount of money when you're good, and you can't not get arrested or whatever. You just keep a lot of money in your checking account. Okay. And the teller always goes, you sure you don't want to invest this? And you're like, I might not work for the next 6 months. I don't know. And you just sort of ride it out. But my biggest piece of advice if you're going to be an actor is do what I did and marry a therapist.
Well, and something else that, I lived here in Portland for years, but I wasn't a full-time actor for a lot of that period of time. I was in the corporate world. I ran a program for Oregon Children's Theater in the nonprofit sector. I did a lot of other things, and I'm in LA and I'm a full-time actor, but I do dubbing, I do voiceover, I do commercials, I do industrials, I do film, I do TV, I do these. It's not one thing. I actually, in the corporate world, I had a boss who used to say to me, never have one client, because if they get a cold, you'll get pneumonia. And I think about that all the time. If you're, especially in a career like this, diversifying is good.
I don't know. It's pretty simple for me. I haven't had too many really hard disappointments, except for not making as much money on Bowser as I thought I would. But we don't get residuals, so.
But you guys could go to his table and you could buy an autograph.
Yeah.
You make Bowser really happy.
I had a theater audition that I did for Sweeney Todd. And I wanted to be Sweeney Todd so bad. And I got to the second round, they sent a bunch of people home. And I thought, good, I'm going to nail this. And I didn't get it. That was disappointing. But you just go to the next show and audition for the next show. And when I first started getting auditions from Bad Animals, they sent me an audition for Sly Cooper 3, and it was for 5 different characters, and I didn't get any of them. And I thought, well, I stink, but I was just starting out, so I was like, maybe I need more training. And then eventually the Bowser thing came through, and I nailed that, so I was all like, yay, I don't stink much, But if you're gonna do voice work, you got to be prepared for a lot of no's, And most of the time, you don't even get a no. You just get silence. So you set it and forget it. You know, you send in an audition and just put it out of your mind, because it'll drive you bonkers. If you think about it and go, I really want that part. I really want that part. I hope they call me, you know. And if they don't, they don't. So be prepared.
Yeah, and I'll say that the games that I've got are vastly outweighed by the games I haven't got. There's so many things that I've got close to and just didn't get it. And, you know, I always say to people, oh, yeah, just move on, you know, but I don't. It's heartbreaking. And you feel shit for like a week. And, you know, it's like, so even though I say that, it doesn't apply to me. I just feel terrible for quite a while. So, I mean, there's so much stuff that a gazillion games I really wanted to do. Like, I came second in the last Crash Bandicoot thing, and, you know, like, Walter Mayer got that one. I got close to the Iron Man game, didn't get that one. Got close to, there's billions of games. So I feel like, you know, I think everyone thinks that everyone's just super successful, and it's just not true. It's like everyone has a billion disappointments with a few happy moments interspersed in between the disappointments. So any kind of art thing that you do is just going to be hard. And I always say to people, you know, if you don't devote your entire existence to it, even then it's not enough. Yeah, it's got to be absolutely all-consuming. You just can't not do that. If you just try half-assed, as we say in the UK, then you won't get it anyway. So it's super hard. So prepare yourselves for the disappointment. Even though I don't, or I try to, it still hurts terribly. So, you know, it's difficult.
I once had a friend who auditioned for an Izzy's Pizza commercial, and he, like, you know, got a call back, and then he didn't get it, and then he saw the commercial, and he goes, they hired a sock puppet. He's like, I couldn't even beat a sock puppet. That's sad.
Well, the three hands that were up that want to be a voice actor are now down.
Sorry about that.
All right, well, other than a sock puppet, do you guys have any actors, voice actors, composers that you admire or look to for inspiration?
For me, that's easy. I guess, like, you know, of course, John Williams, of course, because he's amazing. Danny Elfman, I was a big fan of his in the early days when I did all the rare stuff. Like, I think a lot of basically, I just stole most of what I do from everybody else. Like, in the first Batman movie, when the bat plane crashes onto the steps of the cathedral, there's a chord sequence that happens there. It only happens there and a bit later inside the cathedral, and I liked it so much that I think I based my entire career on those 4 chords. So it would be C minor, A flat minor, C minor, wait, only 3 chords, C minor, F sharp major, and that's the chord sequence to Mad Monster Mansion and everything else I've ever written. So so basically I just stole that from him, and that's my career. That's it.
Great artist steal.
I sometimes get the pleasure of going down to LA to do looping work with Terry Douglas on stuff like the Marvel zombie stuff and things like that. And I'm surrounded by what my agent says are my counterparts, but I call them voice gods. So when I get to work with Fred Tatasciore, I get to work with Robin Atkins Down, Dave Boat, all those guys, I'm just like, I feel like the nothing little ant in the room while I just watch these gods work. And then I get to go up, and when they give me a thumbs up, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, Fred's nice too.
Was it?
Fred's nice.
Oh, he's super nice. They're all nice.
We did one show together, and I saw him a couple of weeks ago, and he was all like, "Hey,
Yeah.
it's been a long time," and I was like, "Wow, he remembered me."
No, he went, hey.
Yeah. One of my big inspirations is Seth MacFarlane. Seth MacFarlane is bizarre, but I haven't met him. Like to, just to see how he ticks, you know, how things work. But he does so many things and so many voices, and he's got so many, you know, irons in the fire, as they say. It's amazing. And other than that, there's some old school stuff, Mel Blanc, you know, things like that. When I was a kid, I was always getting in trouble for doing Looney Tunes things. So I guess maybe I'm a little Looney Tunes. I don't know. But I don't know. I admire anybody that does cartoons. I watch cartoons all the time. I'm like a dumb little kid. It's like, it's great. That's all I got to say.
I mean,
What? that doesn't deserve that.
I don't want to cut your applause. For like an old school reference, June Foray is always. I've just always like admired her and loved her career. Do people know who that is? She was the voice of like Rock. I say that. Like Rocky and Bullwinkle. She was like most. That was my first understanding. I was probably like a teenager. I remember there was a documentary. She was sitting in a chair and she was like doing the voice of like, and now here's something we hope you'll really like, and then going into like Sweet Nell and Natasha, and I'm like, oh, that's all the same person. It never had occurred to me, and I was just kind of like, wow, that's a thing. Never thought about who was doing those voices. So to me, like she was like my first inspiration towards even like what a voice artist was, what they could be, and then just. I loved the writing on that show. Like I love that any show that works at like an adult level and a kid level at the same time is such a sweet spot for me. I think that that's so great because a whole family can share that experience. Like so it's shows like The Simpsons or Bob's Burgers or whatever. Like you can watch a show like that together. They're so clever. I love stuff like that. But then like just an artist who inspires me. I'm a big David Bowie fan, and what I've always loved about his career is that the longevity of it. The amount that he looked around at the world and was inspired by different things and then found a way to make that his own. That's, to me, hugely inspiring when people just, they're constantly changing, they're constantly challenging themselves, they're constantly in a little bit over their head, and, that for them is like how they're creating something new, and then looking at the way that work inspires everybody after them. So that's a career and kind of a philosophy of a career I think about a lot when I'm thinking about what I want to do and how I want to change.
I think the consistent thing that we can hear is like the people we admire are people who they're excellent at what they do and that they can change on a dime, and you also don't know, wow, they did this voice, this voice, this voice. So I love Tara Strong. I like Jim Cummings. Oh my goodness, Jim Cummings is the person that my agent goes, do you want to meet him? And I was shaking like a little leaf, and I was like, yes. And then I went up to him, and he did Ray Firefly voice from The Princess and the Frog, and I just burst into tears. Like I had no idea that it was going to affect me like that. But with that, I mean, to say that we're really inspired when we get to come and be somewhere like this, and we get to see, we love cosplay, and we love the talent, and getting to talk with you and go, wow, there's a story attached to how you use this game, what's happened through it. And so it really is, you have to know that it's really inspiring, that you are inspiring.
All right, well, we've got about 10 minutes left in the panel, so I do want to open up the floor to some questions here. I will start coming around here. I was going to jump, but that felt like it was too risky, All right, we will start over here.
First off, y'all are awesome. Just want to go ahead and say that. But the other thing I want to ask is, if you can think of it, because I know that a lot of the voice clips that, especially the Nintendo folks have done, have been repeated over the years and everything else like that. So if this question is hard, I apologize. What was your favorite game to record for specifically? For Grant specifically, what was your favorite game to compose for?
All right.
No, his answer is Donkey Kong.
Yeah, voice, Donkey Kong, that was it, right? That was it, yeah.
I'm sorry, mumbo jumbo.
Thing is, people ask that question a lot, right? And I feel like it's trying to choose your favourite kid. And I've got 2 kids, and my daughter is a pain in the ass most of the time. But I still kind of feel like I like them both equally, my son and my daughter, most of the time. So I guess ask me today, I'd say something different tomorrow. So I've been super lucky to get to touch so many of the giant franchises. Like, I've done DK a few times, I've done Mario twice, I've done World of Warcraft, even a Street Fighter track, which was ridiculous. Why did ask me, I don't know. Doing something for Smash Brothers. So I've been super lucky over the years. I've only really worked on one game that I thought was shit, and that was a game called Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, which was genuinely crap. So I've been lucky so far. So who knows what's next, but only one so far. So I can't choose, it's too hard.
Probably 3D World, because of Meowser. It was Mauser was hard. I'm not going to go into the explanation because we're running out of time, but it's fairly lengthy. So.
Showtime with the Princess Peach game. Yay! Yes, because they gave Peach a voice to do all the things and to be every part of who she really is. And I loved recording voices for that game.
Showtime.
For me, it was Super Mario 3D World because it was my first game, and it was just so exciting to work on that.
Similar answer. First game was New Super Mario Wii, and it was the only session I had. But my favorite video game was obviously Spider-Man Web of Shadows because I was Spider-Man and I was in and out of there for like a year, so that was fun as hell. But my favorite gig of all time is Scream the TV series because I got to terrorize teenagers.
Living the dream. All right, more questions. Let's go all the way back here.
Oh, me? Okay. I want to get like a phone footage because I want to ask them.
Just do it first.
All right. Oh my. Okay. Sorry. All right.
I think they also have this recorded, if that helps.
Okay, fine. Hi. I was going to say that I really do adore all of your works, and I'm also quite surprised that I've also heard Laura and Samantha in like different series, Genshin Impact and Ruby, respectively. But I do have a question to all of the Mario voice actors here. What are your thoughts on the Super Mario Brothers movie? More specifically, the Illumination one.
Anger. Come on, I went to Groundlings. I could have done that.
I wasn't surprised. You know, people ask this a lot. You know, they come up and they ask about it, but there are people who know Jack Black who don't play these games at all who will go see the movie because they know that. So I guess if you're a Hollywood producer and you're like trying to get your money back on something, you're going to put names in it that they recognize. Would it have been amazing to be part of those things? Sure. But was I surprised? No. So yeah.
And I liked it. I thought it was really fun to watch. Watched it a few times. I have a daughter, so, and we're excited. I mean, I'm excited to see Galaxy when it comes out, too.
Yeah. I could have done it, you know, myself, but I understand you put A-listers in there and you put butts in seats. So it worked that way, but I found out that they did use some of my stuff in the background, and I didn't even get an additional voices credit, so there you go. Look how happy my face is.
There may be one other unaccredited person
Yes.
on this panel.
So I have to just say, grrr. So I was quite annoyed about the whole DK rap thing. That they, yeah, exactly. So I was kind of annoyed that they didn't credit me for the DK rap. I was super pissed about that. And you know, I did ask them about that, and you know, I got back this kind of official response from one of Nintendo's legal people, and they had 3 criteria. They decided that any music in the movie that came from games that they owned, they wouldn't credit the composer. Then they decided, apart from Koji Kondo, then they decided anything with a vocal, they would credit the composer, so the DK rap, of course, scores there. But then on the third point was, if they also owned it, they wouldn't credit the composer. So, and I sort of said, you know, by the time the song credits and a movie roll, it's right at the end of the credits. The theater's completely empty. There's only me and my wife and 2 kids sat there going, oh, look what I did. I said, for the sake of a bit of text, you know. So I haven't watched the movie yet. I've only watched that bit with when the rap DK records, and they just took it out of the game and they didn't even re-record it. They took it out of the game, sampled it, and looped it. Right, I felt like they didn't bother to record it. So I was a bit pissed about that. So you know, as I say, I haven't watched it yet, and I don't think I will. But yes, I was kind of pissed. But I bet they were nice to me when I did the Super Smash Brothers stuff, right? They were nice to me then. So I feel like they're just different to the rest of us. That's what they are.
You kept that short.
I could have ranted more about that, but I haven't.
Oh, yeah. I've seen him do it.
All right, let's get another question right here.
But how do you come up with these voices?
How do you come up with these voices?
Love that. All right. Yeah.
Well, I'm not the first person to voice Rosalina, so I was basically, you know, doing something that had already been established. They kind of wanted me to put my own spin on it, but that's for me personally. I was already doing a voice that kind of existed.
Yeah, and same for me. Jen Taylor was doing the voices of Peach and Toad before I did, so yeah.
For me, it was when I found out that I wasn't going to be talking. Immediately, the little wheels started turning, and I thought myself, I said, well, I want him to sound different. So I went way lower than Scott probably could, or at least didn't want to, I don't know. But going from to, you know, so worked out, you know. 20 years later, here I am.
I'm going to have you do what I did. Can you stand up real quick? You okay with that? Okay, now look at that guy next to you with the, no, in front. Look at the Bowser costume. Okay, now look at Bowser. Now pretend it's not Bowser. You just see the teeth and the whole thing, right? Now just imagine whatever it is. Now, what sound would that creature make when it's mad? Do it.
I don't.
Just go, just bolt something out. You can do it. So that's what you do. You get an image, or you kind of know, you get a description, or you get whatever, and you go, what does this character want? You answer all those silly actor questions, and then you look at him and you go, oh, he's got a tooth on the side. Okay, well, and you give him the physical characteristics, and whatever comes out, comes out. So for Iggy, he was all crazy, and I just went, and then I was in the session, and they go, hey, we got this other character, you want to do it? And they showed me Ludwig, and I just made him fatter and gayer. And so it's just... Ooh, like straight up George Takei, you know. Like that's all it was. Like you just quickly come up with stuff and just let it fly and don't be scared and it's make it yours. Who gives a crap, you know?
Well, I guess my one voice credit with Donkey Kong, of course, in DK64. And I mean, I did that because I asked everybody at Rare, do you want to do the voice of Donkey Kong? And everyone said no. So I was so sick of asking, I just thought, I'll do it myself. So I put a mic up on my office, did the banana, cool, whatever it is, you know, okay, and all that stuff. Stuck it in the game and forgot about it. And when he falls, and you know, I mean, I've said to these guys, no one wants to do Donkey Kong. They're like, what? No one wanted to do Donkey Kong? I said, no one wanted to do it. So, and then Nintendo asked for the samples and used it some games after that. So I did no creation at all. I just did my voice, pitched it down a bit in software, and thought, stuff it, that's done. That was it.
Well, you know, now that guy's going to grow up and replace me. Good.
You got a bit of time
they'll need
yet,
a
Kenny.
replacement eventually. So.
All right, I think we have time for one more. One more? I'm going to Toad Hat.
Hi. For those of us who like doing impressions of your characters, what's the single most important part to create the voice that you make for each of your characters?
I think, you know, that sometimes the people come up to our tables and they can do the voices, I mean, spot on. And so it's that you're listening to it, you know the heart of it. I mean, you're cosplaying Toad, so yay! But you just like put your whole self into it, I think, and kind of what Mike's talking about. You're looking at it and you're putting your own spin on it, like how's he feeling, and then just being brave and just doing it, you know. But we hear wonderful, you guys do wonderful jobs when you do the impressions. It's really fun.
I don't know how I do what I do, so I can't imagine. I have people that, you know, that come up to my table and do something really weird, but, you know, I've never heard anybody that sounds exactly like this. So, you know, it's not. I don't know how it works. My speaking voice is nothing like. I don't know. I just do it. So I don't know.
I've only done 4 of these conventions, and I have never had anybody in my life come up to me and go, I can do Iggy, I can do Ludwig. So I'm like, so come by my booth and show me what you got.
Anyone want to try?
He dares you.
Anyone want to try? We're going to try? We're going to try one.
Okay, so Ludwig's my favorite Koopaling. Ooh.
Oh. Oh my.
That's Mr. Sulu.
That's exactly right.
I could tell.
Borrow and steal.
Yeah. Oh my. Hello.
All right, I think that is all the time we have. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please, please, please stop by these guys' booths. They're in the voice actor area. You can go see them. You can go buy an autograph. Please do that because they have been so very nice to be here at Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Very Portland.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and here are a few more videos for you to check out.